BAT, baby. Come help me get this money, baby. Build a team, get this dream, I'm about my money, baby.
Baby, what's good?
What's happening?
I'm excited to be doing this interview with you.
Appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. I've heard your latest mixtape, No Water Whip Volume 1, and I love it. I see that your sound has evolved over the years that I've been following you. So, as an artist, what would you say about the evolution of the music industry and how you've come to be where you're at today?
I just think, when you make music, you got to be able to listen to varieties and different genre of music. And at the same time, too, you got to always be able to reinvent yourself because sometimes times change, the music change, but at the same time, you got to be true to yourself.
Right.
And I just think as the years went by, I just kept messing with it, and, it's just like working on a jump shot. You keep doing it, you get better. So I'm glad to see that a lot of people are being intertwined in what I got going on and starting to catch on and follow me in my lane.
Right. Well, it's definitely good to see where you've come, and we're just so excited to see where you're going. I know that you're headed somewhere great. And I listen to your music a lot myself, and I hear you reference women a lot, but you never refer to them as bitches. And really, in your music, I never really hear you use cuss words. So, is there a reason for that? Because a lot of music these days is all about cussing and bitches and hoes and all of this.
Well, I strategically like to just work on words. My biggest things, even when I was in school, was just words and numbers, and I got a fetish for that. So I always like to not use curse words because I never know what's going to be my single or what I'm going to use as a single or what my team or my group going to say that's the one to push. So anytime I feel like if I'm going to use a curse word or anything like that, I always think of another word to drop in there. And some songs you just got to let it rip, but if I can, sometimes I'll make it through a whole mixtape with 5 curse words, out the whole mixtape. But, it comes from doing a lot of reading. You do a lot of reading, you can always have a variety of words to use. And, that's just my thing. I try not to curse, but sometimes, like I said, you got to let it rip. But, I just like lyrical wordplay, and I think that's, that makes it better for the listeners and individuals that really pay attention to lyrics.
I think that anybody that listens to your music can see that you have an intellectual side. That's one thing that really stands out with your lyrics.
Right.
And so, speaking of ladies, you're a handsome dude. So let's just keep it real. I know that a lot of ladies out here want to know, is there a Miss BAT or someone special in your life?
Honestly, to keep it, just thorough and 100, I'm a big fan of being a successful individual. So, besides the main important priorities, I can't really say I focus on, anything besides that, because at the end of the day, being successful was always the number one thing in my book. And I'm not saying it's not a great thing to do or have, but my mind frame is just focused on being successful and being to the top of my ability that I can. And, other things come along the way after that, So, when God permits and it's right, shit, it's going to be right. It's going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So it's safe to say that you're single, so I'm sure the ladies like to know that information.
At the end of the day, hey, I always look at it like, you don't kiss and tell. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you got to give people
Keep
imagination.
People
let them wonder
yeah.
sometimes, But, at the end of the day, you got to keep things interesting sometimes,
Right.
No.
Trap music is the end genre right now. Does that impact the content of your lyrics at all?
Oh, pretty much so, because, trap music was something that really just I grasped to so well. A lot of individuals or a lot of rappers or artists that make trap music, I listen to it, or I may even, when I first started being an artist, some music you can feel and it'll leave you with chills, and you'll think about certain situations you went through to damn, I can understand it, I feel it, I know the numbers what he talking about, I know what he talking about with the clock, or even when they speak in code. And then some individuals, you can tell, they talking third party, or they talking for somebody else, or talking to something that they seen that they haven't experienced. So, when it come down to dealing with trap music, I like it. I like the way that it's going now. I like the individuals that's adding a twist to it. But when it comes down to trap music, I like authentic individuals that experience that and really have nice stories to tell. So it's a good genre because a lot of individuals are making it commercial now. So I mean, it's cool. I like trap music.
So, are you saying that this is not just a persona for you to sell music? Is this really you?
Right, because I look at it like this. At the end of the day, like I can't do like Clark Kent and get in a telephone booth and put a Superman thing on and I'm trap king of the world, and then individuals in my community, in my hood, or people I grew up with, you know, wasn't able to know or see me or have seen me do a lot of things that I talk about. So, me speaking on trap music or everything that I experienced, like that's me firsthand, and that's all my name really pretty much known for. Like at the end of the day, like for what I speak about my music, well, my real life situation. So, for me, whether I sell records or not, I was cool being the individual I was. I'm my own cheerleader. I cheerlead myself, so I don't make music for people to get behind me or for the fame or this, that, and the other. Like I like being me, without music. Period. So, me just being able to talk about my life experience and make money off of my true stories, like, that's killing two birds with one stone.
Right. So it's like when you walk off the set, you're still who you are.
Right, right, right. And even when, you know, my grandmother, I go visit her a lot of times, we have long talks, even when she talking to me and I sit at the edge of her bed, and she always just tell me, just be myself. And I think the last talk she had with me is like, I really took heed to it to just be like, be myself, and at the end of the day, like, I'm not trying to be nobody else. I'm not trying to follow nobody else's lane. Like, I'm just true to myself. And I think a lot of times when I speak or when I get on songs or when I tell stories, I shock a lot of listeners. And that's just my whole thing. I want to give the listeners and people very something, good music for them to listen to.
Awesome. I mean, a lot of your music gives off this, 100 type of feel to it. Like you just keep it 100 all the time. And there's definitely like this hard side of you. And, it makes you wonder, like, what was it like growing up in Opelousas, Louisiana? Like, what was it tough? Was it hard? What was your life like?
I mean, I experienced poverty like, I guess every individual around the world, some people had it worse than others, but I can remember times like, me and my mom like by ourselves sitting in the house, no kitchen table, eating on the floor, but she still was a grinder, worked 3 jobs, did whatever she had to do to see me make it. And like I said, I had one side of the family that was cool, didn't really get into trouble and this and that and the other. Then I had another side of the family that was just into everything. Project life, the streets, the whole nine, like the flash, the facade, the whole nine. So it's like I had the best of both worlds, but it's just my other side of the family, like, I kind of took a heed of that because, I had the cousins with the diamonds, they used to dress fly and this and that and the other, and that was physically what I could see and touch compared to, your superhero that you would see on TV. So, I experienced a lot of stuff growing up, but I mean, at the end of the day, every experience that I went through, it was life-changing situations. And, as an individual, whether you're in the streets or whether you going to school every day or you working a job, your turmoil, the things that you go through that may be bad for you can also be a blessing because it can turn your life around. So I feel like, even growing up hard, during my time, like it was a blessing because I'm the individual that, I'm built to last, self-sufficient. So, I don't take no's for no answer, and there's nothing that I feel like I can't do. So, I praise everything I went through when I was small. So, I really like to thank my mama through everything we went through together because, she built a G.
I mean, it's obvious to see that your grind is unmatched. I mean,
Right.
from social media to real life to everything that you have going on, being on your, what is it, your seventh mixtape.
Right, right.
So would you say that it was, like a genetic, like you got that from your mother, or was it that you saw what other people had and you just had this insatiable appetite to go get that?
Oh, honestly, regardless of the fact if, we didn't have a lot growing up, me and my mom, but her hustling is just unmatched, man. Like, and you know, it's very seldom you can find a few women that go through certain situations in life and still, like, they're unbreakable, if you get what I mean. Like, my mom was like some die-hard steel toe boots. I seen a lot of things she went through, and you couldn't break her. Like my great-grandmother, you couldn't break that. Like, it was like an oak tree. You couldn't even cut through that. So, me, I always felt like, and I was telling my little partner the other day, anything you get involved in, if your name gonna be on it, I don't care if it's dealing with a woman or if it's dealing with any type of business, you make sure to the T you have something good left behind your name, because your name is the only thing you have. And it's like, I don't hustle or I don't grind to be famous. I hustle for the end of the day to be successful and to have a name that my kids could live up to. You know what I mean? So that's my main goal, like, having something for my kids to look up to, and making them a role that they can have a little easier way in life.
Definitely got to give props to your mom then, because she
Right.
created a beast.
Soldier.
Yeah, absolutely. By listening to your music, most people wouldn't see that there's a very giving heart in you. And I know that you've been giving back to your community in Opelousas. When did you start that and why?
Honestly, I do a lot for the community that a lot of people may not see, and some people do see on social media. But I just felt like, I don't cherish materialistic things. I have a lot of materialistic things, but I really don't cherish it, because I always felt like, I'm equal to any individual that's sleeping underneath the underpass. You know what I mean? So I feel like, just like God has allowed me to have and possess all these things, like, they can be gone tomorrow. So, like, if I see individuals that need some things that I do have, I don't care if it's on me, brand new in my trunk, I just bought it. If they need it, they got it. I done been, Oklahoma, Dallas, all across the world, just visiting different areas, and I might run across a kid whose shoes not looking right, or who clothes messed up, or they may haven't eaten in a few days, and whatever I got in my trunk, pockets, or on me, and if they can use it, a few times I didn't went home with no shoes. A few times I didn't went home with brand new stuff I had in my trunk that I was supposed to wear that I gave away, because I just feel like at the end of the day, like, seeing somebody use and being able to have things that they really need and you can give it to them, that's my enjoyment. I don't care, like, if it's my last. My enjoyment is to help others. So I don't care what it is. Like I said, I don't cherish materialistic things. If I can help somebody and they need it, like, they got it. That's just how I am.
I mean, you're blowing up social media right now, but you don't really show that very often. So it's kind of like you're like Robin Hood. You're behind the scenes. You're the underdog, but you really do have this side of you, and I think that's really great. That's amazing. What would you say your biggest fear is?
Oh, biggest fear. Let's see. I don't know, man. I guess my biggest fear is just not being a great father. I'm going to keep it real. Like, because I can do anything else, like, hands down. Like, so my biggest fear is just not being a good father, and my kids having a great role model and seeing them be successful. So that's my fear. I don't fear dying. I don't fear no man. I fear not being a great father and my kids not being successful. Like, I dread that. So that would be my biggest fear.
You've mentioned your kids a few times. Do you let them listen to your music?
Well, of course, you know what I mean? Because you got to think about it, like, when you got kids, it's always best for you to expose them to anything before somebody else exposes it to them. So if me and my son, you know, my 11-year-old and my 3-year-old riding around in the car, like, they hear my music before anybody else. And, you know, they might recite some lyrics and this, that, and other, some stuff, you know, I got to tell them, you know, nah, I don't say that. Or my oldest son might ask what that means, and, you know, I tell him. Because I'd rather my kids come ask any valuable information to me before somebody else lied to them and tell them something different. So, you know, I got to let them listen to it, and I got to be able to tell them what certain things mean before somebody else poison their mind with evil thoughts, you know?
And so how do you think that your lyrics influence them, especially your trap music?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I want my kids to know that their daddy is a significant hustler. And when I say significant hustler, anything their father tried to do, he was good at it. I don't care if it was selling oranges by the freeway. I'm outdo anybody out there. That's just how I feel. So, you know, when it come down to doing business or them looking at my music side or listening to my trap music, like, I want them to know, like, outside of just trapping, like, you know, broaden their mind and their horizon to be like, well, that was just one thing that daddy can do. Even though he speak about this and he speak about that, like, he got all these other different venues going on. So, you know, that's my main thing. I just like them to see, like, don't be a one-trick pony. Have more than 3 things going on at one time, you know?
Right. Just have more than one skill and just keep growing through the seasons. And,
Right.
you know, your past doesn't necessarily mean that that's where you are at currently, but it was a process to get you to where you are.
Right, because, you know, I'm going to keep it raw. My past, excuse my language, but it was fucked up, you know what I mean? So, you know, I can't get on camera and just make everybody think that it was just peaches and cream, because I'm not better than the next person. But at the end of the day, like, even with my moments where I felt like things wasn't going to be good or things was going to be bad, like, I just never gave up. It's like I can't wave a white flag. I can't lay down. I don't care if a dude 400 pounds, I'm a $190. We got to get it. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel. I just, you know, because I feel like at the end of the day, when you built to last and you really say that, you don't even have the thought or fear of dying. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you want to be successful and you want to be great. So you're going to go by any means necessary, blood, sweat, and tears to do that. So, you know, that's why I just work so hard at just being the individual that I am and just try to make a difference on others. Like, you know, I run across people all the time in the streets and, you know, they be getting busy and doing all kind of different things, but, you know, I'm not judgmental. I got all kind of friends. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and just play like I got white, black, Hispanics, Japs. I got all kind of friends. You know, blue collar, white collar, streets, the whole nine. So, you know, I'm not a judgmental person. And always before I place thought on somebody's situation, I try to step up my shoes into theirs and, you know, try to understand what's going on before I just, you know, go beyond logic of saying, okay, why this person did this or why this person think like that. Because, you know, everybody got their own way. You know, if I tell me and 5 people to draw a school bus, we all going to have our own 5 opinions of what a school bus going to look like. So, you know, everybody's unique in their own way.
Right, that's true. Was there ever a point in your life or something really bad that happened that put you next to death? Like, was there a situation that was just one situation that stands out in your mind that it was like that was that defining moment for you?
Man, I done had a few situations. I remember one time, you know, I've been, you know, robbed a couple of times. Not say a couple of times, let me keep it all the way real. I've been robbed before, but you know, I've been just put in all kind of situations. But when I sit back and think about it, like, I can't never blame the individual or blame how it happened, because, you know, I had a choice. And even every day, even though we have a lot of stuff that we get involved in, we still got choices. And a lot of choices that I made could have alleviated the plays or the things that I was involved in. And, you know, when you're going through certain situations and you just moving fast, you don't take time to think, hit the brakes and hit the reset button and just analyze the situation. And it's like, now, where I'm at now, I gotta be on point 24/7. That's why I don't smoke, that's why I don't drink, because I gotta be on point. And a lot of times I got individuals around me that smoke and that drink, but if I'm supposed to be the ringleader, if something happened to one of them, how am I gonna tell their family members like we was all drunk or we was messed up and I really don't know what happened? So, you know, I be mindful of all my thoughts and everything I get involved in now because I done had a lot of close calls on life, and I just figure like, well, you know, higher powers, if you keep giving me these chances to live, then okay, you really got me out here for a reason to make a difference with the people. So, you know, I be very cautious of the move I make now.
So you say higher powers. When you say
Right.
higher powers, who are you speaking of?
I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know, higher powers is what I believe in. You know, everybody got their own beliefs. I just like to speak and say higher powers because, you know, that's what I believe in and that's what I feel like watch over me. You know what I mean?
That's your way of not offending anybody?
I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know, everybody got their own opinions. Opinions like booty holes. Everybody got one. It's just to the simple point, like, you know, what everybody else believe in, you know, I support them. And I just hope whatever I believe in, they support me.
That's good. You mentioned in a few of your songs, and I'm going to get super personal with you, so
Right,
I don't know how you'll take this, but you mentioned doing time for not snitching. Can you elaborate on that?
Oh, shit. Hell yeah, like, shit. Like, I had, like, just being gangster, like, about 2-3 times, you know, like, I guess, just, you know, I got some friends I'm real genuine to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm real genuine to. I don't have many, but a few of them you know, I done took one for the team about 3 times. It's like, you know, few situations like something didn't happen, and because they figure like I knew the individual or, you know, I didn't say who it was or, you know, I was affiliated with them, okay, well, come on with us since you don't want to talk. And you know what I mean? We'll let the people sort it out in court. So, you know, there have been a few times like I done fought cases or I done fought charges, you know, and, you know, had money taken from me behind, you know, other individuals. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know, my grandfather was a man of code of honor. So I felt like at the end of the day, like, you know, my loyalty run deep. And, you know, a lot of people loyalty run deep for me too, regardless of the fact if they never touched the camera scene or whatever. I got a lot of people in the streets and off the streets that loyalty run deep with me, and that's how we are with each other. And, you know, I come up the old way, like, we just don't do that. Like, you know, at the end of the day, like, we value each other's friendship, and that's just what it was. And I mean, you know, I took a couple for the team. I'm still out here. God got me still being blessed, and, you know, that it is what it is.
Well, we're glad to have you here and glad to have you back in the
Right.
free world.
Right.
So obviously your word is your word, and that's what it is.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, too, you got to look at it like, I'm a very open person, to the T. Some people can't take my bluntness. I'm like that. Now, you know, whether I omit certain details when I'm dealing with certain people, you know, whether it's in the streets or off the streets, you got to think, like, sometimes you telling an individual so much about you that puts you in a vulnerable, weak stage because they can destroy you. So, you know, I'm just big on protecting myself and anything I get involved on, you know, when it comes down to certain things.
What advice would you give someone just starting out in his or her career, and what advice would you give people, period?
Somebody just starting their career dealing with music,
Yeah.
never give up. And even when people are throwing your CDs out the window, or, you know, they're not jamming you like talking about, like, you don't lay down. You just keep pushing. Because at the end of the day, all you got to do is believe in yourself. You believe in yourself, that's all you need. Everybody gonna catch on. You got to believe in yourself.
And that's real right there. Are there any questions that I didn't ask that you wanna give us an answer to?
Nah, I think we pretty much wrapped it up. We good to go.
We good?
Yeah.
It was a great interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Dip before designer, keep it quiet lasagna. Eating Benihana, a true religious designer. Glancing from behind you, leave your past behind you. Adding to our future, never hit it with a mind.